You know, we used to heavily rely on people telling us, oh, I called, I seen a flash in the air over here or whatever. And sure, it's great, we love those calls if we get them, but now we're not nearly as dependent because we can really get situational awareness based on where we lost, you know, the meters and where we still have power present. So it does make a big difference in our troubleshooting.
Okay. So if we have a power outage, we don't have to call in anymore?
We've always encouraged people to call in, but at the same time.
And what happens, like you said, that only transmits every half hour. What if it's transmitted at 12 o'clock and at 12:01 we lose power?
So the last gasp is instantaneous. It doesn't wait for the half hour schedule. So,
Plus Lisa gets a text.
but I would say sign up with the app, and with the app you can check and see if we think the power's on or if we've opened up a ticket already. And so if you check first, and then you can.
What is that website? Just ComEd.com?
Well, you can go to, on your smartphone, you go to your app.
App Store.
App Store.
Oh, the App Store?
Okay.
But ComEd.com too. There's a mobile website. The web, you can go to the website, you can call. But the quickest, easiest way today is really having that ComEd app and check. It'll check already to see if you got power and allow you to open up the ticket if you don't.
You asked a really good question. I didn't want to leave you with the wrong impression. As Dave explained, every half hour the meter talks to us. That's with nobody doing anything. It's just how it's programmed. But there's a couple of ways. We can ping a meter anytime. That's what in fact, you can do it once you get the app to see is the power on at my house. And you can, if you're away, you can actually ping the meter and see whether or not the meter responds. So that's one of the nice benefits for if you're away during the summer or somewhere else and you're worried that you lost power. So that's certainly a great benefit. Our control center can do the same. You know, we can basically ping meters to make sure if there's, if somebody's having a power quality type issue with their home, we can do things at our control center and do the same thing that you basically can do from your phone and see what's the status of power at 123 Main Street or whatever.
Okay, I'm gonna, if the board has any more questions, okay, if anybody has, I'm gonna wrap it up pretty soon and open up to the audience, because I know Lisa has some stuff she wants to present too.
What would happen if we chose another supplier?
Has nothing to do with the metering.
Okay.
So ComEd doesn't own any generation plants, or our parent company, Exxon, owns nuclear plants and other generation, but ComEd doesn't have a dog in that fight. So we meter regardless, whether you're with ComEd as your supply or someone else.
Anybody else on the board?
Yeah, I got one last one. All that information you guys are gathering about consumers' consumption of electricity, are you guys selling that information?
We are not. So
private, confidential, in the homeowner and ComEd?
So we use it operationally for our own purposes, and we consider it your data. So we don't release it unless we have your explicit permission, right? Because there's some cases where customers are asking us to send the data to the supplier. So we have to have your explicit permission. We will release anonymous data that working through research institutions request data. And so we'll bundle it up on basically groups of 10 and make it, remove any of the personal information from that usage data, average it out like over 10 customers and provide that to like University of Illinois and other places. And then if this hasn't happened, but if we were required by law for some reason, we'd have to abide by that law. But those are the only 3 ways that we'll release the data that is not being used.
Okay. Anybody in the audience have a question?
The half hour. Can we access that information and see if whether or not we're surging for some reason? Like maybe we're...
We have usage information, but not voltage information posted available to you.
So just see. Okay.
The half hour usage information is available to you on ComEd.com or via the app.
Is there a graph on there? Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, and how about the cops? Marijuana growers and stuff. Can you supply them to catch them? I'm just saying because he's that would be excellent data though. Could you imagine? I mean, you could track
We
them
don't.
down
Yeah,
per
no, I
day.
can answer the question, because I ran operations. Same thing, subpoena, if we're provided, presented with the right information from law enforcement, like Dave said, we're required to, our legal department reviews all this. We don't make any of these decisions. It goes to our law department, and they decide as to whether or not what we legally have to, release in association with that.
I think it's a great idea,
We're
though.
very highly protective of people's data. But it isn't just the smart meter, I'll say, that because, the years I'm talking about, a decade ago, I ran operations. And it was just looking at monthly reads. If you've seen an 800-foot bungalow using 10,000 kilowatts a month, it
Right.
raised questions to a lot of folks.
Uh-huh.
And local law enforcement typically has their suspicions prior to them ever coming to us.
Right.
Sometimes that's just something that they may do to help affirm their case or their suspicions.
That's
I want to thank you, Dave, very much. And
Thank you.
I know Lisa wants to cover some savings programs.
I just real quickly, I'll pass on this side and I'm just right here.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So, as we were talking about energy efficiency, there's a lot of programs that you can take advantage of as a customer with ComEd, and the best place to go to is ComEd.com, to our website or on the app. But the information is under a section called Ways to Save, and it will go through for residential areas. It will go through a number of ways that you can save on your bill. Whether it is calling our 800 number and having a free residential home energy assessment done. Believe it or not, you can actually call that number. We will send out an energy efficiency specialist that will come to your home, and they will actually look at ways that you can save within the house, and then they will also, at the end of the assessment, be able to provide you with LED bulbs and CFLs and things like that that they would change out for free. And they will provide you with a power surge protector as well as a free thermostat, and that's just allowing us to come into your home and showing you ways that you can actually save on your bill in certain tweaks that maybe you need to do within the home. All that information is also on the website. And then on the card that I gave you, the free assessment is actually at the top. But then there's also other discounts that you can take advantage of at some of the big box stores. You'll notice that when you walk into a Lowe's or a Home Depot and you're going for any type of bulbs or power protectors, things like that, they do have that information where it shows you that you're getting the immediate savings from ComEd on your purchase. So there's nothing that you have to mail in for a rebate or anything like that. The website, like I said, in the section where it states ways to save, there's just so many programs, incentives that you can take advantage of that you will see immediate savings once you actually go through with that particular program. And a lot of it has to do with, there's discounts that you can have, there's recycling programs. We are still doing if you have a refrigerator that is a working, operational refrigerator, we will come to your home, we will pick it up, and we will give you a check for $50. If that happens to be, a refrigerator that you want removed from your home. And then, of course, any of the stores that you go to now, all the refrigerators are basically energy efficient to begin with, so that's immediate savings that you get just by having them installed at your house. Uh-oh, what did I say?
Move right along.
Do you have a refrigerator that needs to be picked up, I take it?
No, we probably
No, it's a perfectly good refrigerator.
Oh, it's a good
We have a
refrigerator.
refrigerator at Lowe's that would really like to come home.
How many else have rebates on those?
Yes.
Well, they're both energy efficient.
Yeah.
Yes. So that's just a few things that I just wanted to highlight. But the free energy assessment is something that I really recommend. I think you'd be really surprised when the specialist actually comes to your home. And anything that you have accessible when it comes to the lights, they will change out that day.
What are the best light bulbs?
The LED lights.
Okay.
Yeah, the LED lights, CFLs.
What are those curly ones? Is that the CFL?
CFLs.
Okay.
but we actually provide you with those particular products, and they're of no charge. So, same thing with the power surge protector and shower heads, free thermostat.
Shower
heads,
We've
yeah.
been trying to help you in your gas.
Yes, even on your gas bill.
I'm really picky
Water
about
flow.
my shower head. I went out and paid $50 for this wonderful looking shower head, and I put it on, and I'm like, what is that? And went to my old one.
And the thermostat too, I mean, it's not a smart thermostat, but we already have those savings that we pass on via the stores if you're interested in getting a smart thermostat. But just a regular one, they do provide that as well if you're interested in that.
With recycling, is it just freezers and refrigerators? Or is it electronics?
No, it's just the freezers, yeah, freezers and refrigerators. And they have to be working.
What do you do with that?
We actually send them to an electrical recycling facility. They strip out all the parts, make sure that they're disposed of in an environmentally friendly way, manner. They'll try to recoup the metals.
Then why do they need to work?
Because they're taking actually, as you're moving it from a working appliance, you're actually typically taking load off, or something that's working is something that you're
Oh,
taking out
to
and
pulling
reducing
electricity.
versus something
I
that's
see.
not working. So.
Gotcha. Well, it was working yesterday, darn it.
Anything else?
No, we'll leave some information here. There's more flyers, information on your smart meters, and then more information regarding the energy efficiency programs that are left here too. And this is just an easier resource to take a look at. But I'll leave some of these with you as well, if you want to pass them. I'll leave them here. And then obviously, anytime that you have any questions about anything, the mayor knows my phone. So, I know Ray, but I can't help myself.
We're all sorry for you too.
Yeah.
That's a whole different thing.
Oh, I text her at all times of days.
I was gonna say, do you email her as much as us?
I
When
text
power goes out?
I text her a lot when,
I get the text messages when you're out of power.
Our power
But I
goes
can-
out and it's
but
bing,
I
bing,
can
bing.
look at it
bing, bing,
immediately
bing,
and tell you what the problem
I
is.
try to let you guys know if.
They're doing fine, right? So, I've heard so many people say, oh my gosh, my electric bill jumped like $150. Is this because the old meters weren't reading their usage correctly? And now all of a sudden your new smart meters are? Or why is there such a huge difference? Like my girlfriend had a $300 bill last year, and at the same time this year, doing the same things. I mean, she runs the same, like she has a farm, so she has the heated water and all that kind of stuff. She's done it for years, and all of a sudden her electric bill jumped almost, it was over $200 that it jumped. So I'm just wondering, is it because the old meters weren't reading correctly?
Could have been estimations done prior to
Well,
get caught up.
that's typically what I've seen as the explanation,
that's what I'm
that it was estimated the month before, and then you put the meter in, and then sometimes we haven't been able to read that meter for months, right? So that's another advantage for customers that, maybe the meter's inside or behind a lock gate with dogs, so we aren't able to read that meter. We put in the AMI meter, the smart meter, and we no longer have access issues, right? So we're able to get a natural bill every month.
I know the question's over with, but they've already switched ours. And we did have one of them spiked bills for whatever reason. Did they take the reading off of that old meter we had so ComEd knows where it was at when they pulled? Okay, that's, because otherwise they got in the way of questioning,
Our installers, when they exchange that meter, one of the things they do is they take a photo of that meter. So if there's questions about that outread on that meter, we can pull that photo up in most cases and validate that the read that got entered in what was on that old meter.
So how many meter readers lost their jobs because of those?
That's my favorite. I was just telling you, that's my favorite question. Not one. Not a single one. Meter readers are our feeder stock for all our overhead electricians, our underground.
Okay.
So that's how people come into our company. historically, is they start as a meter reader, and then they promote up into different, whether it's within the bargaining unit or in the management. That's how a lot of people started. And so now we actually have a problem that when we don't have meter readers to pull from in the future, we're working with trade schools to figure out how do we fill that gap.
So we had about, at the time it started, probably just under 600 meter readers across ComEd.
That's all?
That's it allowed us to read across northern Illinois.
I was expecting a lot
once per month. It's 600 actually. And right now we sit right around 200. And those folks, those numbers, there'll be some ongoing jobs. You're still going to see one of the things, I'm glad you brought this, I'm glad you asked the question. We're still going to do inspections. So you're going to still see a reader come out every 4 years, just to do an inspection to make sure that everything's, okay with, our equipment. They'll mark up some, they'll have a handheld computer and put in some information, but just for the most part, making sure everything's safe. That nothing's broken or anything like that. So we'll still continue to do that. And there'll be about 60 people doing that across northern Illinois on like I said, every 4 years they'll be visiting the facility.
Well, there are still gonna be meters read, because I heard that you can opt out of the smart meters and pay a fee every month to have somebody come read your meter.
You're way on top of that. Yeah, absolutely. So we do have folks, I think the current cost is
$21 and something,
We have about 4,400 customers
that have opted to do that. So, we do, the same folks that are doing those inspections are the same folks who integrate within their day to do those readings once a month to make sure that it's the same level of service that was provided before, but you build individually monthly for that service.
Now, I want to ask this real fast and I'm done, and then we'll go. But we have older homes. Is there a certain amount of service, like 100 amp service or 60 amp service for these meters? And if someone has, if there is, and they have too low of a service, what happens then?
There's no need to change up the service. So nearly all cases we come out and exchange the meter like for like, and we've had no issues. Now, another benefit for customers as part of this program is as we're coming out and replacing the meters, we are finding old equipment that's broken down. Just yesterday we had a case where, because of the freezing that occurs in Illinois, some of the times those cables get pulled down by the earth and they get tight, and they'll break the meter, the customer equipment inside that socket. We had yesterday a technician pulled the lid off and pop, sizzle, crack. It just fell apart basically into their arms. They're wearing safety equipment, so nobody's hurt. But we have electricians on call, union electricians, that then we dispatch, repair that equipment. It's not fair to you that nothing was wrong with your equipment until ComEd showed up with that smart meter. And now we have $1,000 electrician. So we are taking care of when it's been real successful.
Yeah, so one time as we go through the install, and you just have things that occur. Some of these fittings haven't been open in 40 or 50 years, and we're the first one going in there or whatever. So we made, thousands of repairs, minor repairs to equipment, because it's the most important thing to us is that we're working at, your homes, your businesses, that we leave it in the direction that's safe, that no one's going to be injured as a result of getting a smart meter installed.
All right, so you're not required to update your service?
No.
Okay.
That would be more of a factor of the load that you had on the inside. And we see that often when people overload circuits and stuff. And, they'll get breakers tripping and things like that, but not as a result of the smart meters.
Okay, thank you.
Don't turn everything on at one time. You'll get another circuit in the kitchen.
All right, well, I thank you very much for coming out.
Yes, thank you.
Very much appreciate the opportunity to meet all.
There was a lot of questions answered. I could see,
Good.
So, but I appreciate it very much for taking your time to come out in our little, slice of heaven, I call it.
Oh, you want to pass on to our rep that Ray? I got a street light out here. I'll be calling tomorrow.
Yeah. So.
It was pretty dark coming down that street towards this club. I thought they'll never find that street because that's the corner where you have to turn it. It's all dark.
I know, I saw
right up
that
there, the one out of 3-phase of it, that was Tony?
Yes.
Yeah, that's the one you're talking about, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, right there.
Was it called it yet?
No, I just seen it
Oh,
tonight.
okay.
I don't wander around this town. I don't like to wander.
We don't go out after dark.
The best one was the time I called in and that poor girl couldn't get it through her head at all. She says, I need the house number across the street then from the law. I said, there is no house across the street. There is no number. She says, I can't help you.
All right, thank you very much,
Thank you very
Lisa.
much. It's nice to see you again. Very nice to meet you. Thank you very much for coming.
Thank you.
Pleasure.
Thank you. I love your network.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thanks so much.
Oh, it was
Thanks
so
for
much
asking the
fun.
questions. We appreciate it.
Thank you
Thank you so much.
Thank you very, very much.
Thank you.
So do you
Don't
have
get lost.
associates to be an electrician with ComEd or what?
And associates?
Yeah.
No,
Industrial electric?
actually, I was a lineman here for 15 years, so there was no,
Thank you.
you know, you need to have a high school degree basically, or GED to get hired. But there's a lot of internal qualifications to become a lineman.
I'm an electrician.
5-minute break and then-
Oh, yeah?
Yes.
Yeah, you have to be able to climb poles, you know.
He's paying to
That's
get
the part that most people, that's the part that most people struggle with.
touched
That's not the first time. I just had rib surgery. So, yeah. I'm limited.
We always, you go up there, you want mine to be good with electricity, and then we tell you, and when you do it, go climb a pole 40 feet on little spikes that big.
Open the envelope and send the check. That's the simplest way I found to handle it.
I know. We're with you, honey. That's what I got goosebumps, that's how cold I am.
Really? I'm literally.
It's on 69.
Well, you're around 72, so you know.
They'll come up with something. I'll tell you they will.
No, he's not lying, it was them too.
Yeah.
But don't open that door, it's cold.
How about this way then?
That's like.
No, you can walk away, we're gonna take it, I'll be fine.
When we lose power around here, we're at the mercy of the big dog system. If there's bigger areas that are out of power, stand by, people. We gas the generator, it's gonna be a while. Thank you very much.
They did. Yeah, they're all replaced now.
Yeah.
No, they got the new heads on, there's a number on each one of them. and
It's 6 of them.
I think they've all been done.
Trouble.
Ours was done yesterday morning about
I
8
gotta go
o'clock.
to the
Yeah, ours was done.
It's
Yeah,
the
but hold on
EGR, the
something,
heads are okay on it.
I couldn't believe this, you know, he come, he was outside pulling the garbage cans back, or pulling them out, one of the
There's a
two.
guy in
And
Georgia
he, so he ran into him, and he
now.
comes to the house, and all of a sudden, he goes bang, 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 and the dog just goes
Bulletproof stuff on it.
crazy, you know?
And put a finger turbo and put a tuner on it.
I went
And
in
everybody
there.
around
and I
here is
just
at
can't
$5 grand and all they're doing is fixing it.
Here, let me take a picture of you.
No,
that's okay. We get you one.
We get it all hooked up for you and make it run.
But it was,
That's what,
you know, he was
that's what I
calling
want
something,
to
and I was
do.
like, okay.
So I'm just waiting for the snow to stop and then we'll. Yeah, it's a good truck. I like it.
I wouldn't mind putting a tuner on mine. You know where Connie was at.
Look at my sweet baby.
They're pretty nice guys. The thing is, you go in there, you can't get away from the guy.
Cody?
Yeah.
Cody?
I went in there, I did, Lord.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jan,
Yes, ma'am.
I got a hammock for my dog.
Do
Oh,
you?
you can get a back seat of my car.
Oh.
You know, it's
Oh,
waterproof,
smokes.
and it clips.
But you got a big dog.
Yeah, well, that's the reason why. But it clips on the
Yeah,
two
it's a
headrests
break.
at the front, and then it comes down, it's got the flat bottom, and then it comes up and hooks to the two head, so that he isn't like, he can actually lay anywhere
Then you're
across
fixing
that,
it.
and it doesn't get dog hair in your car, like it all
Right.
goes in right there, you know? But your seatbelt still fits through it, so I can seatbelt him in.
Ah.
So we can seatbelt him in, and he can lay there. I mean, it was one of those rocking wheels for $13, but it's waterproof. And I hate when he gets in the car. You know, we got leather seats, but when he gets in the car when we've been out to the club or something, he's got dirty feet. I hate that. So this way he goes on this, and we can just take this out and wipe it down, and it's good to go.
You want to do
My
it?
dogs haven't been in my new car yet.
Do you want to do it?
I haven't taken anywhere.
I'll tell you.
And Lincoln used to go everywhere. Today's my gotcha day. Today's the day I got him.
Oh.
2 years ago.
I remember you bringing him in to the meeting. How cute he was. Oh my gosh. That is so cute.
Now we should see it. Yeah, I think I'm going to. Yeah.
34 missed calls.
What?
Been there.
Couldn't be too important.
She has extra.
Yeah, sure, what's that?
Lucy doesn't like the picture taken. So when she sees you with the camera, she turns her head away.
Nice and dirty.
Do you guys remember last summer when we talked about, last year when we was talking about not golf carts, what do you call them? Utility. No, but they're fixed.
You just gotta duck once in a
Did we
while.
pass it or
No.
did we not?
It's all good. It just doesn't look pretty right now.
UTVs, they're an ETV, but an utility vehicle. What you showed me today, that's a golf cart set up. as
Well,
a
that's what we
utility.
thought too.
Yeah, that's. You're
So
talking
that
about
would be
it.
okay.
Yeah, we're talking about it. What he was talking about was like large ATVs.
In the box in the back.
That are two-seat
Okay.
utility.
The thing I showed you is down in Disney at the property control, and my cousin wants to bid on it for us. Because we want to garden out on Alicia's property out there on the 16,000, and there's no water. So we would have to put a water tank on the back of it and transport water out there.
Oh, I don't know about that.
That makes it a commercial vehicle, doesn't it?
For my garden.
Okay, let's get back to order of business. Okay, committee reports. Health and welfare.
Has nothing to do with state?
Anybody else?
No.
Think
about it. What?
Okay, water and sewer.
All water bills are up to date, as far as I know. We did get a new quote for, the tune-up of the, did we get that in right? Did it come here, or was it just over the?
He just
It was
texted.
$500 instead of that astronomical thing,
Complete.
yeah, to do a tune-up. And that's Ratton, right?
Yeah, Tony ran.
Tony Ratton. We'll do a tune-up on the, generator, thank you.
Do we need to put that up on the vote, or?
So, can I make a
should-
motion to accept this bid of $500 from Tony Ratton to do a tune-up on the generator?
All right, we got a motion, is there a second?
I'll second the motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, so I'll give you his number and you can contact him.
Okay. And other than that, I don't have anything that I know of.
Dave, Jetty mentioned something about sewer by the house was smelling.
Yeah.
About it the other day, and I don't know how we can address that at all. So.
No, I know we had talked about that before, but doing that chlorine.
Yeah, get some tablets.
Pipe.
Yeah.
We gotta do something about that. It does, it stinks.
Well, if you want to do that chlorine, I'll remember to get you that catalog, cause that,
Okay.
Pool Supply out of West Chicago is cheapest place I found when you're buying it in larger
Get it
quantities.
overnight,
Okay.
no cost.
All right. Can you have it for the next meeting?
Yeah.
Okay.
You'll get a quote or anything with this catalog?
No, I'll bring the
Okay.
catalog, and they got all the prices listed in there, depending
Okay, you
on,
decide what they need.
you know, if you wanna buy everything from a 10-pound bucket up to 200 pounds is.
Cause we gotta figure out how to do the, pipe in there.
Yeah, I've got that.
Oh, yeah, you got it on, yeah.
Okay, anything else? Okay, streets and alleys.
Well, y'all heard I got a street light out, and other than that, you know, we're just playing it by ear. The restrictions are still in effect. I'm gonna ride with the townships. When they lift, I'll lift.
I was just gonna ask you, do you have any idea when that's gonna be?
If we don't get any, excuse the expression, but cold freaking weather, is, you know, it ought to start leveling out here in the next couple of weeks or so, and I'd like to see it by the first part of April, but I
So
don't, you
probably
know.
when we come back from spring break.
Yep, that's probably a good
Yeah.
choice.
That's, don't quote me on it, but that's pretty much the way I feel. I'm driving around looking at the roads. We don't have the leading spots like we did before. So.
I noticed some cracking. I wanted to ask you about, right at the edge of Willow, Second Street.
Yeah.
You know, where we had dug up the
shut off?
The shut off?
Yeah.
That's got one hell of a dip there.
I'll grab some gravel and put in there for now, because we can't really do much else with it until this weather settles off on us and I get that pile thawed out a little bit better.
That's something to ask Keith too. Do we need an extension?
I'd say, can we raise that up? Cause that dip has always been there where that water.
Yeah, but that's the problem with the dip is the pipe is down so far that
you can't raise
we can
that.
only pull it,
Right.
you know, get so close to it, we'll bury it.
Right, but if we could raise that up,
Yeah, if we can get an extension for that buffalo box.
right, raise that up and then build a cold patch around it to
Right. Yeah.
fill in that hole maybe.
Okay. Okay, anything else on?
Not at the moment.
Alright. Okay, can I digress back to water sewer for a minute? That hydrant right by the township shed, that cap has been broken off for a long time. Can you and Keith get together and get a price on it? Because I looked at it the other day, it looks like all we have to do is change, you know, that's not into anything. All you do is change the guts of that cap, you know, the threaded part.
Okay.
Where's that by?
Township shed.
That's right where that dip, in that same.
No, it's back.
That's on
By
the
the
same.
time, yeah, it's around the same area, but it's back, you know, out of the street. You know.
Okay. Right, yeah, I understand that.
Okay, yeah. Okay, anything else on the streets and alleys? Okay, planning and zoning.
Nothing new.
Okay, anybody else? Okay, building and grounds.
I don't think it's new.
Anything on cameras or anything?
Oh, I was looking up some of them, but I know actual ones, in a while, yeah.
I did give you books for the swing sets.
Oh yeah, the swings, we need to start
Yeah,
getting those.
but I didn't know, like, if you just wanna use those as a reference, or if you wanna look up, or if you want me to. So we can get the swings replaced at the park.
I think the one swing we have in the pump house there, it's got the maker and everything, the number on it too. So I see that all of our swings, except for the baby swing, is gone over at the park. Yeah, they're all gone.
Somebody took them or you
I
stored
didn't-
them for the winter?
No.
I found them laying around a few times. I hung them back up and.
I've talked to Cass about, once we get new ones, the S-hook's gonna be completely closed.